This isn't working for me. That's what I told myself every morning after finishing a Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation. I would open my eyes, looked at my unchanged life, and feel like something was missing. Something that everyone else seemed to get, but not me. And for 3 years, I followed his methods religiously. Heart coherence? Check. Feeling those elevated emotions? Check. Mental rehearsals? Check. But the testimonials of others talking about their miraculous healings, magnetizing large amounts of money, even before the retreat ended, was amazing. But I had nothing to show for my efforts. And I questioned, why isn't this working for me? Then I discovered what was blocking me. It was one fundamental misunderstanding about how manifestation actually works. Because when you correct this one thing, it will bridge the gap of everything. And the results were immediate, dramatic. Because within 30 days, I manifested a $30,000 opportunity that seemed to appear out of nowhere. And so the crazy part is, the change wasn't about adding more techniques or trying harder, but it was about understanding the subtle distinction between mechanically practicing Joe's methods versus truly embodying them. And once I did that, I bridged the gap. I finally bridged it, and reality began responding in ways that I'd never thought possible. So that is what today's video is about. But before we begin, check out some free and life-changing resources below in the description. Because if you are serious about manifesting your desired reality while achieving more and doing less, then I have some free resources that can help you in the description below. But this was my morning meditation for 3 years. 3 years. Heart coherence? Check. Elevated emotions? Check. Mental rehearsal? Check. My alarm would go off at 5 a.m. I'd drag myself out of bed like I was a soldier reporting for duty. Time to manifest, baby. I would mumble that up to myself, half asleep, but I was determined. Then I would sit on my meditation chair, the expensive one I bought specifically for this purpose, right? Keeps my spine straight, shoulders relaxed, like I was the poster child for, enlightened meditator. I would follow Dr. Joe's guided meditation word for word. Heart coherence, I would place my hands on the center of my chest and breathe deeply. Elevated emotions, I was thinking about puppies and winning the lottery. Mental rehearsal, I would visualize myself as a successful entrepreneur with a successful business, speaking on stages. And then I would open my eyes, look around my apartment, and see the exact same reality that I had before I closed my eyes. And then, subconsciously, a thought would slip. Why isn't this working? Right after meditation. Right after meditation. You know what's worse than not manifesting what you want? Watching everyone else in the Dr. Joe community manifest miracles. While you're sitting there thinking, did I miss a step? Is there a secret password that I didn't get the memo about? It was like me being the guy at the gym who does, all the right exercises with the perfect form, but never sees results because he's not actually engaging the right muscles. I was going through the motions without understanding the foundations. And the turning point came during a particularly frustrating meditation session. I was sitting there doing all the right things when suddenly I had this thought. You're treating this like a transaction. Whoa, where'd that come from? This was in meditation. All right, universe, I did 45 minutes of heart coherence. That should be worth at least $5,000, right? I visualized myself for a solid 20 minutes. So where's my wait list full of clients? That's when it hit me. I was separating my meditation. Well, I was treating my meditation separate from what I would experience in real life. I was treating manifestation like a job that I had to clock into every morning, and then I clock out as soon as my meditation was finished. I was doing the meditation, but I wasn't becoming the meditation. Okay? And that is the difference between the gap. Doing meditation and being the meditation itself and embodying the person you want to become. And Dr. Joe talks about the generous present moment. This concept is about where all possibilities exist. And I was treating the present moment like a waiting room for my future to arrive. Now serving manifestation number seven. Number 7, your abundance is ready for pickup. Right? That's what I was treating it like. But the truth is, I was living in a state of perpetual waiting. And here's about waiting and wanting. But here's the thing about wanting. It's acknowledgement of not having. The more I focused on wanting things to be different, the more I reinforced that they weren't. So I decided to try something radical. Instead of using meditation to escape my current reality, I would use it to fully inhabit the present moment. Because with all of its imperfections and possibilities, the present moment is where all possibilities exist. Okay? I want to tell you what changed. Well, firstly, I stopped treating meditation as something I did and started to treat it as something I became. Instead of generating heart coherence for 45 minutes, right? When I opened my eyes and real life started, I began extending that heart coherence state into my everyday moments. Okay? I would carry this heart coherence state while working on my business, while interacting with my loved ones, while interacting with clients, standing in line at the grocery, heart coherence, stuck in traffic, heart coherence, dealing with a difficult client, you betcha, heart coherence. I realized that Dr. Joe wasn't giving us techniques to escape reality, but he was giving us tools to transform how we experience reality, moment after moment. And let me tell you something. When you start maintaining that elevated emotional state throughout your day, weird shit starts to happen. And I also added something to Dr. Joe's practice that made a massive difference. It is called an evening reality review, but we'll talk about that later. Actually, briefly, every night before bed, I would review my day, okay? Where there were specific moments where reality had responded to my new state of being. But I'm going to tell you that process in depth because these tiny synchronicities, these small wins, the moments of flow, they add up and you create momentum. You know what I mean? Interesting. That person randomly mentioned the exact book that I was thinking about yesterday. That parking spot just opened up when I needed it. Wow, the person that I've been trying to reach for weeks just suddenly called me back. Because this practice did two things. First, it trained my brain to notice evidence that reality was responding to my new frequency. Second, it created a feedback loop of gratitude and expectation that amplified the whole process. Now, another game-changing thing was that I realized emotional intensity matters more than duration. I used to think 30 minutes of meditation is good, but 2 hours, that must be so much better. Wrong. Is it working yet? How about now? Right? 5 minutes of genuine heart-centered coherence is infinitely more powerful than 2 hours of going through the motions, trying to create a to-do list during meditation. It is the difference between sending a text that says, I love you, versus looking your lover in the eye and telling them how much you appreciate it and saying it wholeheartedly. Same words, completely different energy. I also discovered that combining Dr. Joe's coherence with intentional synchronicity recognition, reviewing it after the end of the day, created a powerful amplification effect. Because instead of just noticing coincidences, I began actively acknowledging them as feedback from the universe. I see what you did there, universe. Nice touch with the license plate saying 888 while I was thinking about how I love my clients' feedbacks, how I love them giving me testimonials. I appreciate you. Now that might sound woo-woo, but that's actually solid. There is actually solid science behind it. Because when you consciously recognize these patterns, your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information, begins to seek out more evidence that confirms your new beliefs. So what about my $30,000? Well, it showed up when I stopped looking for it. About 3 weeks of this new approach, being the meditation and being the person transformed rather than doing it, I received a text message from a former client who I hadn't spoken to in years. They had a project and wanted me specifically, and they had a $30,000 budget. But here's the interesting part. When I got that text, I wasn't excited because of the money. I was excited because it felt like the most natural thing in the world. Like, of course it would happen. This is who I am now. All right, to be honest, I first thought it was a scam because it didn't have that person's name when it showed up on my phone. It had just had their number on it. But once I called them and we spoke, it felt so natural. Because once they started talking about the project, everything felt aligned. My entire being, it felt like it felt expanded. That's when I realized the true power of Dr. Joe's work. It's not about manifesting specific things, but it's about becoming the person of whom those things are normal. All right? So write this down. I want to share the enhanced daily practice. Okay? Oh, here it is. The enhanced daily practice for this. Because I developed this to build upon Dr. Joe's foundations, not to take away from it, okay? Disclaimer. Morning meditation equals transformation. But you have to have the intention of becoming the person you want to be, and not just doing the meditation, but intending to be transformed as soon as my eyes were opened. I had to extend my coherent state throughout the day. Okay? When you reconnect with that elevated state, that is when the magic happens. Identity embodiment. Asking yourself throughout the day, who would I be if I was already my desired reality? And now, be that person now. So simple. Evening review of synchronicities. Okay? Review the synchronicities and express gratitude for what happened during the day. But here's the most important part. Okay? You have to stop separating your spiritual practice from your life. They're not two different things. Your practice is your practice. Your practice is your life. Life is your practice, and your practice is your life. And if you've been following Joe's work and not seeing results, you got to ask yourself, are you doing the meditation like I was? Or are you changing yourself to be the specific person in your desired reality? Are you generating elevated emotions for an hour each morning? And are you living them throughout your day? Are you walking? Are you waiting for your reality to change? Or are you changing how you experience reality right now? Now, don't get me wrong, the $30,000 was amazing. But the real transformation was in the person who I became. I just needed to stop treating manifestation like something I had to do and start recognize it as something that I am. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments that one thing you're going to change about your manifestation practice. And if you want to dive deeper into how to truly embody these principles, check out the free resources in the description below. Okay? And the final thing is, remember, the generous present moment contains all possibilities. The generous present moment contains all possibilities. The question is, who are you being in this moment?